What's up, everybody? This is John from the Sexual Podcast, and I have with me Rikk Agnew, legendary musician from the OC scene. Yeah.
Okay.
So tell me, how'd you start playing music, and how'd you get into the scene and start the band and all that?
I had an older half sister who got me into music as far as I can even remember, and we were into early Stones, Motown, Beach Boys, Frankie Valli, Four Seasons. Then I saw the Beatles. I wanted to be a Beatle. Then I saw the Doors, and I wanted to play keyboards and be Jim Morrison. Then I saw Hendrix, and I went, that's what I want to do. And went through doing that and played in my first band. I was a bass player in 1974.
Wow.
When I was a sophomore in high school. But there was no punk then, and everybody played covers,
Yeah.
We played everything from Bowie to T-Rex to Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and shit like that. And then we went on to where bands back then, there was no originals. Everybody did covers, and if they had one original, they'd be like, okay, here's our original that we wrote, and it would suck so hard because they were trying so hard. So when punk came along, it was just loved it, because I always liked the rebellion of people of course, Morrison, Beatles and stuff.
Yeah.
So boom, it was just punk rock came along, and it was like when I discovered Buddhism. It's right, yes. This is how it is, There's no rules. It's fucking music. There's no rules. It's art. So I embraced it and just fell madly in love with it. And one of the first bands that I was in that was Naughty Women. We were kind of like a glam meets punk, New York Dolls meets Sex Pistols kind of band.
Sounds
and
interesting.
they were horrible, but it was a band to play with, that was into punk rock back then, 76, 77. And then there was the Detours. And that's when it was real dangerous. The cops always, wanted to bust your skull. Everybody wanted to beat the shit out of you, because there was hardly any of us. Then went on to, from there, I met the guys in Social Distortion, eventually became the bass player. There was a band called The Mechanics who were a little too rock for punk, a little too punk for rock, but they were our gods and heroes of every band from the OC scene. Agent Orange, Adolescents, Social Distortion, all those bands. Detours were,
Wow, I never even heard about them. That's crazy.
The Mechanics. The Mechanics were, yeah. Scott sings for a band now called Poop that we started about 20 years ago, and he was he was incarcerated for a while for certain I shouldn't discuss, but anyway, just fell in love with it. Anything and everything that was punk was just I just loved it, man. It was freedom, and I embraced it as a lifestyle immediately. It was never really about the fashion, but the fashion was cool, and I liked the fuck you attitude, the anarchy, just everything it had to say. But you don't have to be violent, and it's not a full-on fashion statement, at least not for other people maybe it is. It's supposed to be whatever anybody wants it to be. That's how it started out. Didn't matter if you had long hair, if you had nails in your head or whatever, you know what I mean? Or you were wearing an upside-down wedding dress or just looked like a rockabilly dude. It was all about just individuality. If you believed and embraced what you were doing, not trying to impress others or fit in, that was punk rock, and it still is. And that's what I love about it most of all. And it's my favorite music to basically play in bands. That's why I'm still doing it at 61 years old.
Wow, it's crazy. So did you see the scene change from the 70s to now, and what is the difference, if there is any?
Oh, we went through different cycles, like anything else, like any kind of subculture, does. It just goes through different cycles and phases, and when it's small, it's like a unity. It's kind of like how this country started, with the founding fathers. And then the more people that jump in and get attracted to it for whatever their personal reasons and individual reasons were, you're going to have more of a chance to get in some, bad apples you know, and stuff, and it starts kind of ruining rotting the whole bunch, as they say. And
wow.
So you just, I don't know. I move on though. I get bored and everything, but it's always in the name of quote unquote punk rock. That lifestyle.
Yeah.
What
does that lifestyle mean to you?
It means, individuality. It means respecting others for what they like and making no judgment, enjoying it, doing things with, your undying passion. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees kind of attitude. But totally just out to have fucking fun, and I love making people laugh if I can, just all positive thing. It's basically the only thing that's going to save this fucking world. But, I mean, there'll be a revolution and we will all win, but the warmongers out there and the fucking, what do they call them? The starts with a P. It's a really bad word. Politicians.
Politicians.
They won't even know what hit them because they'll be all looking for it like this, but it's just going to all of a sudden be there.
Oh.
It will all of a sudden be there because we're smarter than them.
So you're on tour right now, right?
Yeah. Well, this is 2 pre-show tours. I mean, two pre-tour shows. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get dyslexic with my words. Yeah, we did last night, tonight, and then the night after Christmas, we play Anaheim, and then leave from there, go down to Miami, come back across the Midwest to till the 15th, where we're playing Flagstaff, and then we have 2 days to get home. Casey has to fly to New York immediately for a DI show.
Oh wow!
And I have to get ready with my other band, Symbolism. We're playing the NAMM show. So.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So you guys are really busy musicians.
Oh yeah, I'm in 10 bands, 10 functioning bands. It's insanity. It can drive you crazy. Every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 different things, whether it's recording, rehearsing, doing shows, writing, whatever. But it's like, to me, that's living the dream. If I keep busy like that, I ain't starving. I got a roof over my head and a woman who loves me, and a really healthy daughter that's getting married this November. I'm fucking. That's it. That's
awesome, man.
That's living the dream.
Yeah, and still play music for all these years, and still be able to make a living off of it. That's amazing.
And have nobody fucking tell me how to do it or what to do. Fuck the corporation. Fuck them. Fuck them. God, they just take the soul out of it all. It's like what Hunter Thompson said before about the music industry. It's true.
Yeah. So what's touring like from back in the day compared to touring now? Do you book the same? Definitely you don't book the same because it's the internet versus telephones at the time.
It's like, it's amazing because I think about the tours that we did back then and stuff, and there was no cell phones. If you watch this one documentary called The Outhouse, it's about a place that was in the middle of a cornfield in Lawrence, Kansas, and it was just incredible and amazing. But you hear everybody from Ian MacKaye to me to all these other people that played there, and they're all saying the same thing. No cell phones, no cell phones, no cell phones, no laptops, no nothing. Just you just do it by paperwork that you get beforehand and pay phones if you can find one. And if you're lucky enough to catch them wherever. And it was really harsh, it was like boot camp or whatever. It was definitely Boy Scout kind of shit, just live, survive or die kind of thing. Now it's just so fucking. Just a minute. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. And all right, I got the GPS all programmed. Right on. All right. What do you need? Okay. Here's my bar card number. It's. I mean, I don't sit there and go, yeah, these kids think they got it so tough. We had to walk in our bare feet 10 miles to go to a show, and that was before we were doing sound checks. And it's not like that. It's basically just how it was. It was made it kind of, I don't know. It was very romantic in that weird way where it was tough, and you're survivors. But then at the same time, we think we're not calling the new kids pussies because they got all this technology. We're basically going Thank God, thank God it's easier for you guys. That way you can concentrate more on your performance and being personable and so, talking to people and all that kind of good stuff. It's... Yeah.
So if you break down, you're pretty much not going to make it to the show and they would never find out what happened, or...
Yeah, you just have to kind of try to find a payphone and keep in touch, and stuff. I mean, but like when we went to play this outhouse place, man, we're driving through cornfields, and it was so funny. It's like something out of a movie, because I always like to read a lot when we're on tour. And I was reading I'm a big Stephen King fan, reading Children of the Corn, and all of a sudden they're going, "What the fuck are we? What the hell?" And I look up, and it's just all cornfields, and I'm like, uh-oh, I'm getting the creeps now. But then all of a sudden it was like there was this blue building in the middle of nowhere, and because there was no phones, no nothing, so we're kind of... So yeah, it was weird. I mean, it wasn't weird. It was what it was. It was what it was.
Things just get more convenient as time progresses, I guess.
Yeah, which makes things even harder a lot of times. Makes it more difficult,
Oh, how so?
Just it starts becoming too quick and too by the time something's been changed, it's already been changed twice, and at least back then it was kind of like cut dry. If the show was canceled, okay, that's canceled, that's it. You always knew exactly what you needed to do with the time to show up and all that. Things weren't so fucking rubbery and flexible, and
So, how'd you guys connected when you guys were toured back in the day through phones, and how'd you guys discover like venues and stuff like that?
Payphones.
Just straight up, just calling people.
Oh, to book the shows.
Yeah, to book the shows.
Oh,
yeah.
and all that. There was a few amazing geniuses who dedicated their lives. God bless them. They're on the other side of the dirt now, but they were people that they were very DIY. They were as punk as the punk bands were. Where they would just the ones that opened it up was SST, Black Flag. They would just play wherever, and then there was always like a little kind of teeny crop of kids and seeds here and there and stuff, and a lot of places they never they're punk rock, what's that? So they would go, well, let us play there, we're a rock band. They didn't know the difference. So that's how it kind of started. That's how, and then by the time we were booking, we were getting booked to do U.S. tours and stuff. It was by a guy named Mike Verini. He worked for like Dead Kennedys and a lot of the alternative tentacle bands.
Oh, wow.
He did one tour with Christian Death, and he did one with TSOL. My brother was in the band at the time, and the last week, Todd, the drummer, broke his hand.
Oh, really?
Because he wouldn't stop for food.
Wow.
So he punched his drum case and broke his hand. So they flew me out, and I finished that tour. But it was like really old, like hardcore, We were in the back of a Ryder truck.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It's crazy, man.
So it was. And then there was a guy named Doug Caron, and he had what he called Pied Piper Entertainment. He did it all from fucking payphones and stuff. He had one of the very first laptops, and he would do that payphone. He would pirate out like getting credit card numbers.
Oh, really?
To be able to call anywhere, and use those, and that's how he would call all the different states. And he was super organized, man, and he booked several bands at the same time.
Wow.
A lot of bands, a lot of the New York hardcore bands and things like that, Diagnosty, and a lot of those bands. Yeah, he was. It was nice to know that there was other people out there that felt and thought the same way we did, and liked a lot of the things, just had the same kind of, beliefs and, thoughts and everything. Because when you first get into to punk rock and in the scene, especially when you're somewhere like Orange County, which is so, the LA County, which is like, 30 miles away.
Yeah.
They would like, oh, I'm going to Orange County. You're from Orange County? Bunch of hillbillies, we were hicks to them.
Wow.
We're right next door, you're just a bunch of like stuck-up fucking kids of movie stars, which a lot of them are. It was just our group of friends, you know, punks that most of the time we always went to this apartment that Mike lived at called the Black Hole. And it was just a small little one-bedroom apartment across the street from this junior high school in Fullerton. And, you know, at any given time, after a while, there'd be anywhere between like 15 and sometimes 60 people every night for like into the wee hours of the morning, just partying their asses off and everything, you know, just, you know, a lot of sex going on and stuff, a lot of people, you know, just being drunk and falling in the pool outside and screaming. I mean, it was total anarchy, you know. I mean, when I think back on it, it's like I feel horrible, but hey, you know, we were living what we, you know, read about was punk rock, you know, the anarchy, Sex Pistols, all that kind of, you know, Wolf, you know, and everything and stuff. So we were just kind of posing that kind of attitude because it felt good, you know.
Yeah.
We're so tired of the pent up, you know, just fucking the way people were back then, you know, all those like. They couldn't fucking loosen up. They didn't want anything that was different. They were just so, you know, Stepford wives and stuff.
Can you believe that you're still playing till this day?
Oh, I never had a doubt about it. I mean, that's just the way it is. I knew it from, you know, when I was a kid after I started playing that first band, that cover band, and then I did the first, and then it went on, and I don't know. I never really thought about it or questioned it. I just lived day to day, and I lived for time to time, and you know, just enjoy the fuck out of it. And if I do kind of think about it, like if somebody like you asks me, you know, I go like, you know, I never really pondered that, but if I did, you know, I would probably say, well, what else am I going to do? You know, this is what I do, and I feel like it's, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm here. In this mortal coil on this side of the depth.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, that's all all the time we have for now. Well,
okay.
Thank you so much for doing an interview.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah. I'm sorry I get a little long-winded, but I like to be kind of detailed about.
That's things. Okay. That's perfect.